Hello everyone, we'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, Tech Tools to Get, Grow, and Keep Customers.
Good afternoon everyone, it's a pleasure to be speaking in front of you today. On the screen you'll be able to see today's agenda, and I'm going to talk a little bit first about intelligent customer engagement and what it means from some change that's happened in the world related to technologies, and then we'll align that with what we see in the market in terms of clients, our clients and companies adopting CRM to get customers, to grow relationships and revenue with existing customers, and to keep customers happy. We'll also end with a little bit of Q&A as well. So if you have questions throughout, please feel free to ask Cheryl by typing them into the IM box on your screen, and we'll answer those throughout, and we'll also see at the end. Just one quick Socius commercial, just not necessarily commercial, but to give you some perspective. Socius, as a consulting firm, we're not only focused on dynamic CRM, which we'll be focused on today, but we have an ERP practice that covers the breadth of Microsoft products, EP, NAV, AX, and SL, as well as other services related to solutions with NetSuite, Sage, including Sage CRM, and SysPro. But today we'll concentrate on dynamic CRM in terms of the solution that we'll be presenting, aligning with our Get, Grow, and Keep message. So where are we today in a digital world? I think all of you have probably registered on a mobile device or have a tablet at home that you're interacting with and engaging with frequently on a daily basis, if not continually. And I think we're all aware that right now there literally are more mobile devices in the world than there are people. And with everyone having a tablet, we're obviously interacting with technology much differently than we did even 3 to 5 years ago. What that means is we are using apps. Many of us, I'm sure everyone on the line here, has downloaded multiple apps, probably using more than 20 apps between your tablet and your cell phone. But those apps basically are making us more productive, more effective, and that's why we are, engaging with those applications and using the devices in the manner that we are. But lastly, one final transformation that's taken place in the world as well is social media. We're all connected with LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook in some way, shape, or form. And the combination of the three has really transformed the way that we're working to do tasks, whether they be at home, whether they're in the job, and most importantly, the way people are buying products from our companies, products or services. And the buying cycle has fundamentally changed because of that. Case in point, if you've ever purchased a large purchase item, a large dollar item, first place you go to look about that item in terms of pricing or availability is Google. So the buying cycle for a customer has changed because so much information is being researched now before action is actually taken. And today, buyers are literally more educated than salespeople when it comes to buying products and services. But for companies, most companies don't really focus on all the steps of a buying cycle. Most companies are really focused on 3 main objectives. One, how do I get customers? If you are a relatively new company, startup company, or mode from net new customers, you would be focused on getting new customers. Second area of focus is on growing existing customers and existing sales with existing accounts, meaning cross-sell and upsell to those companies. And then finally, keeping customers satisfied. So making sure that issues are resolved and your clients have high levels of satisfaction. So most companies that I've talked to really fall in one of those buckets where their focus is. Most organizations also have some way, shape, or form across all those 3 areas, but typically they're in one area in particular trying to drive change in the organization or success. Those areas also line up really well with marketing, sales, and service. But in reality, the people on the front line in those functional roles with marketing, sales, and service, in order for them to be effective with their customers, they really need 4 things to happen. They have to have the right data at the right time, delivered on the right device, and ultimately it's got to be easy to use. And that's what's really important in CRM. If those 4 areas are not included with a CRM system or the applications that our users are using that are customer facing, then we will fail them and they won't be as successful and adoption will be less than what we'd like to see. So what are we delivering in CRM? In reality, connecting these three groups is really what CRM is all about, unifying the teams so that they're all working off the same song sheet. At the bottom of this slide, you can see the life cycle of CRM, from market planning to outreach to qualifying into sales, engaging, proposing, selling, and then into service, managing, serving, and expanding. The life cycle of CRM, as illustrated here, is really covered with dynamic CRM. And we're going to talk today a little bit about each of the areas and give you a demo about how dynamic CRM is covering the gamut from marketing through sales through service for an organization. But what's most important is CRM systems aren't just about a CRM system. Most people, well, I will say all people, have used some Microsoft solution in one way, shape, or form, being Excel or Outlook or Word. All of us have used these applications. But when we're using these applications and they're disconnected from a CRM system, what ends up happening is become less effective. A lot of times users can get lost in terms of where they are, where they need to find something, and their effectiveness becomes less than optimal. So what our goal is to take all the Microsoft solutions and help an organization think through at what point in time in the process would I actually be using these different solutions. So for instance, if I'm calling on a prospect, how great is it to just be able to easily from CRM click through and conduct a Skype call? Or if I'm about to release an RFP or I need to find an RFP, to go to SharePoint and find that RFP very quickly and effectively right from CRM. Or if I'm going to look at data and identify trends, leveraging Power BI, for instance, to be able to identify trends within a market or within some customer base. So the whole key is how can we figure out and help our users to be much more effective by connecting between a CRM process and a system right into the workloads that people are using on a day-to-day basis. So with that, I wanted to start off with a little bit of an overview of Dynamics CRM just to give some perspective for those that have not seen Dynamics 2015. This is Microsoft's latest version that we'll be demoing here in a moment. A couple of things. When Microsoft developed the latest versions between 2013 and 2015, it was developed with a people-first design, meaning that navigation is highly optimized. And they actually took the framework here and released it to the marketing side of the house before it was ultimately released to the entire suite of products and services, or products for Dynamics, to test it, to make sure it was user-friendly. And you can see that the design here is indeed something that's intuitive and feels comfortable for users to use, which, you know, for first stage of adoption is really important. In terms of navigation, what you'll see in Dynamics 2015 is the navigation has been simplified, and it's very user-friendly, combining icons and graphics with words and organized in a way so it makes it easy for people to find exactly the work that they should be working on or where they want to go next. We've illustrated here sales, service, marketing, custom, but obviously dependent on a role and the particular situation, an individual would have visibility to what they are able to see. So through the implementation and configuration, that all gets managed. The bottom line, it's easy to navigate and find where you are and where you need to get your job done. A couple things about Dynamics CRM. As Megan will be jumping into the demonstration here in a moment, what you'll see in the demonstration is a screen that you'll see a couple of screens that look like this. At the very top, you can see a ribbon that goes across, which is a process. This is a sales process. It's illustrated by qualify, develop, propose, close. And Dynamics CRM is developed to be very process-driven, but it's also rules driven, meaning that rules to be followed in order to go through the process. So depending on your particular situation, you with us can put rules in place to define when is a lead actually qualified, are you ready to propose on account, and ultimately deliver and close. And those rules can be as robust as your situation or as limited as needed be. Finally, collaboration is key as well. So that middle panel there is the collaboration panel that Microsoft's developed, and will show you how you can share information, whether they be posts, emails, notes, etc., within teams to be able to further organize a sales team around a particular customer or engage with service teams as well. And then finally, just in terms of navigation, the screen that's displayed here is a typical dynamic CRM screen. But what's most important is the real estate is highly configurable. And this is one of the key differences between an ERP system and a system like Dynamic CRM. Literally, every field can be created or adjusted. It can be moved throughout the application, and different sections can be moved around as well and sized. So what we really do is take advantage of the real estate that's been offered by the type of device that is ultimately being used, which we all know that everyone is on mobile devices or using some form of mobile devices. The good thing is Dynamics has been configured out of the box to be usable within all these different devices, and you can see the apps that are first on the phones on the bottom right. That's the app that is a downloaded app that basically accesses a CRM system out of the box, able to get to the key components of CRM that are important for a field person, whether they be in sales or service. Same thing with the tablets, but the size factor is a little bit different because you have more real estate to deal with. And then finally, on a laptop or a desktop, it has a different UI to take advantage of the real estate. So I'm going to dive in here to a little bit about getting customers, which is really a marketing-focused discussion to get customers that leads into sales ultimately. So as you can see on the screen here, a number of icons are being displayed, and that relates to all of the different activities that marketers do today. I guess the reality is for marketers, they have one of the toughest jobs because there's really no one single easy way to market to customers. If there was, I think everyone would be doing it, but there's really a lot of different channels, a lot of different approaches to reaching prospects and getting leads. Many of them are listed here, but the reality is most organizations have not yet fully adopted all these marketing capabilities. Some are doing email marketing and some components of this, and most organizations are using multiple tools, whether it be for email marketing, for landing pages, websites, for event management. And what that ultimately does is two things. One, a lot of different tools mean you don't have a lot of interoperability between the systems, which means data isn't flowing effectively. And then secondly, that leads to lots of lists. I'm sure many of if we have marketing people on the line, I'm sure you probably realize the pains that you go through in managing lists and trying to figure out which list are we marketing to, which list are we trying to convert, which list am I sharing with sales, et cetera, because there's just a lot of lists of customers and prospects that marketers have to deal with. Marketers also have challenges getting to metrics and developing an ROI. So if we can help them with a system that ultimately has everything embedded that will provide this to them with all the functions and the results, they'll be able to obviously much easier compute an ROI, determine what programs are effective and not effective, and get rid of the ones that aren't working, focus on the ones that are. And finally, MQL, Marketing Qualified Leads. What we've been finding is most organizations are in their infancy and really having marketing organization define a qualified lead that gets pushed over to sales. The more that we can help organizations define leads and get better at pushing qualified leads over to the sales team, the more effective our sales organizations are going to be with the expensive field-based resources following up on leads. The bottom line is we need to think about a CRM database, one common database that manages lists and help marketers segment and target customers so that they can be much more effective in the work that they're doing.
So one of the ways that CRM really helps marketing is being able to aid in processes that already exist. So marketing gets leads constantly through various people meeting others and trying to gather as much information as possible. So say you're at an event and you meet someone that you want to maybe follow up with on who wants to learn about your product. And so, you could get a business card, or that could end up, getting lost in the mass of papers. And so instead, you can pull out your phone and open up the CRM app and be able to quickly load their information through that. So here is, kind of what the CRM app looks like natively on the phone. And you can go into your open leads and be able to quickly see and add new records. So here, this is the form to create a new lead, and all of this is customizable to the information that a business would want to collect. So as we're going through here, we can put in the topic as well as some information about the person that we met, the rate we think they're really interested in our product, and it kind of gives us an idea for when we get back to the office how we should be following up to things. So I'm going to go in and put a first name and last name, and this is actually a mobile device being used, so you can kind of see how things interact and work moving through the native application. And so here we've added the mobile phone. And then we can go ahead and save that record. And so by saving that record, we are connecting it to our CRM application and connecting it to all the leads that we already have. This way, if you're working with someone who may already be on the web client, they can see this information instantaneously. So you don't have that process of having to upload. And here you can see my lead and as well as the information that I've put in. So now we are going to open up the the web client. So you go back to your office and you really want to follow up with that person that you met. So I can go into my dashboard, and dashboards in CRM are designed so that you can get as much information as possible when you first log into the screen, rather than having to try and track down a whole bunch of pieces of information. And so I'm going to log on to my user, and this is my user that is connected to my phone. So that way, when I log in, I can see my lead that I created at the trade show event. And so right here I have my open leads, and here we can see that Cheryl Daniels has been added. And so that was added from the mobile device, and I can quickly access the information. And then one of the features of CRM is integration with either Skype or RingCentral or various telephone providers. So using that, I can open up this lead and decide that maybe I want to call Cheryl. I want to try and find out a little bit more information about what she's interested in and what kind of products she would like to purchase / learn more about. And so I can click mobile phone directly from inside of CRM, and it will open up my Skype call. And so through this, I really don't have to go outside of CRM to try and make a phone call. I don't have to try and organize a whole bunch of different places by taking notes or trying to find new information. And so now, I've made that call and I've learned a lot. And CRM will actually open up a activity. And so activities are areas where you can store emails, phone calls, or tasks that have occurred, and you can keep track in kind of a more teamed fashion as to how those are organized. So here I can say discuss CRM, and this way I can track all the information that I've gathered from her through my phone call and through other activities that may be occurring. And so then I've decided that she is interested in learning more, so I can enter some information in our business process and then qualify the lead to move it forward based on the rules that our company uses, as well as the process structure already in place. And so by doing this, I am able to move forward and the sales team has the visibility of what I've been doing, as well as being able to track various leads throughout their stages of progress. So now we're going to go back to our PowerPoint.
Okay, thanks, Megan. That was a pretty quick demonstration, but what in that short amount of time she was able to show you mobile, how she was playing this role of being at an event and capturing a quick lead on a mobile phone. And then in terms of event management, we didn't really get into the event management piece because our time was cut a little bit short here, but event management is a component within CRM as well. So you can register individuals for events and then ultimately include them in terms of the leads and lead sources. Lead qualification, so you saw the lead qualification process, and she very quickly took and qualified a lead in that particular situation, and then that really kicks off the ensuing sales process as well. She demonstrated a quick Skype call, although didn't complete the call, but ultimately, just a quick click through within Skype allows you to make calls when you have Skype and set up within your environment. And then finally, a dashboard. So she opened with a dashboard. We're going to talk a little bit more about dashboards because dashboards are really important because it's typically a place where people start. And if we can provide them information about what and where they start their day or organize their work, then it's going to be much more effective for our users. So you did see a little bit of a dashboard, but we'll highlight those a little bit more here in a minute. Megan, can you talk about the list import really quickly because we didn't really cover that in the demo.
Something that natively happens within CRM is being able to import your data through Excel files. So CRM comes with Excel templates that you can use to either transfer your current data as well as import new data. So while I entered a single lead from a trade show, a lot of times marketing will get a list of people and pieces of information. And so using these imports that go through Excel and lots of information rather than just going lead by lead and create a more unified process.
Thanks. And the whole point being we are managing lists now in one CRM database. So the great thing about Dynamic CRM is it allows you to get rid of all those extra lists and keep them all organized in one place. A couple of things I wanted to cover here in terms of marketing. We are one of our partners that we're working with. It's an ISV solution. It's called Click Dimensions, and this is being illustrated on this screen here. Click Dimensions has all the functionality that middle market companies typically need when it comes to marketing. What's being illustrated here is the nurture marketing screen, and this simply is a way for marketers to automate a campaign to be able to communicate with customers or prospects based on certain rules that are put in place. So the illustration here starts with send an email, wait for 2 days, and then assign it to an individual, and then notify another user. Rules can be put in place there. For instance, if email is opened, then notify salesperson to follow up. Or if email is not open, wait 2 days, send another email, and send a different email. And these workflows can be embedded so that it really automates campaigns. And for marketers, it really makes their job much more effective and much more consistent to be able to market to their customer base. And then finally, ROI dashboard. So one of the things I talked about was how challenging it can be for marketers to get metrics and measurements for all the various marketing activities. The good thing is, out of the box, Dynamic CRM has dashboards already in place to be able to capture certain marketing metrics. The ones that are illustrated here are for an event, a webinar actually, similar like today. But you can see attendance rates, registered versus attendance, attended, and then average attendee. So it provides a quick snapshot for marketers to see, hey, what marketing has been successful to drive attendance at these particular webinars. Great tool for them to analyze. Okay, moving on, let's talk about growing customers. And when I talk about growth, what I really mean is growing existing customer base, and that means upselling or cross-selling to those you already have a relationship. It's already been proven that the probability of selling to an existing account is 65% high, 65% probability of selling versus 12% in a brand new account. So in essence, it's basically 6 times more more likely to sell to an existing account than to a new account. Similarly, it's 6 times more expensive or more costly to sell to a new account than an existing account. And then finally, what we've found and researchers have found is that when customers leave, a majority of the time, 68% of the time, the reason they leave is because they claim they're not getting enough attention. So what's important for us is how can we help an organization overcome some of these hurdles? And it comes down to selling time. This is a typical pie chart of where a salesperson spends their time. Believe it or not, golf is not one of the items here in this pie chart. But a salesperson literally spends about 22% of their time actually selling. The rest of the time is spent between administrative tasks and other related tasks. And if we can help them to get more time selling by taking out administrative time and other things and just improve by 1% of their selling time, that 1% would be worth roughly $45,000 if they generate $1 million a year. But the question is, how can we do that? How can we give them selling time back? 2 key areas that will help. First is planning their day. If we can help them better plan their day, whether they start their day in email or whether they start their day with lists, then we can help them get more selling time. And then secondly, automating CRM. So they don't have to think about taking an email and putting it in CRM or taking a calendar request and making sure that that gets recorded or writing down tasks that then they have to replicate in CRM. If we can do those things, it will make them more effective. And then finally, in terms of how can we help salespeople, well, the one thing salespeople need is how do I get an introduction into an account, or how do I understand who else in an organization I can sell to if I'm cross-selling. This is a tool called Inside View. It's offered within Dynamics CRM. And this is actually an example of one of our customers called Sarnova. And all of this data is provided in basically out of the box. The information itself is pulled from LinkedIn, from Facebook, and from various other sites that gather data about companies and about executives. The great thing about this is it's very easy for a salesperson to see who are the top people in an organization that are likely to be buyers and how am I connected to them, leveraging the connections that are within Microsoft Dynamics. So within my company, someone may be connected to these individuals that I can get an introduction, or within my network through LinkedIn. So a great tool for them to automate their research and quickly tap into existing relationships to penetrate accounts. Finally, from a sales perspective, how can we help sales leaders lead? 2 key things. One, on the right side here you see a sales funnel. And what's really important for salespeople, sales managers, is to understand what's in their sales funnel so that they can better balance what's in the longer-term pipeline and the shorter-term pipeline. And that's in the short-term pipeline, meaning get closed quickly, they can work with sales reps with a list on the left side to quickly identify what opportunities that I can help my sales rep move forward, and drill down to information about those opportunities so they can be better coaches that drive selling and ultimately delivering and closing sales. So let's turn over to Megan and do a quick demo about how Dynamics CRM will help grow.
So one of the main things for salespeople is either starting your day with a list or starting your day in an email. So if you're one of those people that really like to start their day with a list of things that you have to get done, things that are looking for in the week, your dashboard can have a My Activities list. And this will tell you, basic things that have to be accomplished, things that, you have upcoming, so that you can structure your day and organize the things that you feel are most important to get accomplished. So this just kind of gives you an easy way, and then you can mark these activities as complete. So you can track your progress as you're moving forward in a variety of activities. Or you're one of those people that likes to start your day with your email. And if you're one of those people, then CRM has a functionality to actually integrate with Outlook. And so if anyone here uses Outlook, this is My Outlook. and it has been connected to our organization, which is Buckeye. And so here you can see everything that you can see inside of CRM. You have to look. So that kind of creates one of those locations that you don't ever have to leave to be able to organize your day as well as structure the things that you need to get done. So as a salesperson, I'm constantly having contact with a variety of clients, and a variety of those clients are, in the different stages of a sales process. And personally, I would like to be able to track where they are in the sales process as well as who they belong to. This way, anyone that I'm working with on my team can be able to see, the emails that I'm receiving and the changes that I'm making. So through CRM, I can track an email. So, here I got a request from one of our clients that was regarding one of their opportunities, and so I can set it regarding to this opportunity. And by doing this, I can actually integrate directly to CRM. So I don't ever have to leave my Outlook to be able to open the CRM record. So as a salesperson, I'm using my time more efficiently, not having to go between CRM and Outlook and trying to figure out, when did this email occur, who does it belong to, all of that information. I can do that natively within Outlook to be able to organize and structure my day a little bit better. And so here you'll be able to see that Outlook will open up a CRM window simply by clicking on that opportunity. And so, I can do this and open up my opportunity to be able to organize. My email will show up in my social pane. So because I've tracked that email, anyone that has access to this account and has the security to see the activities that are on this account will be able to see, what I've tracked. So this gives, if you're working with sales teams or any sort of teams or marketing, you can see the history of what's occurring. And so that way, and once it's been tracked, it'll stay inside of CRM, and that way you can kind of keep organized all of the different tasks so that you don't have to worry about trying to share emails and forward them and, losing a whole bunch of information. And so, in the email, they asked me if I would please update a contract. And so one of the things that, anyone in the business world has dealt with is the fact that there's always a different version of the contract. And the version that you have, you may think is the most recent version until you make a whole bunch of changes and then realize that that wasn't the most recent version. So CRM will actually allow you to integrate with SharePoint. And so if you're not currently using SharePoint, that is a functionality with Office 365 or an on-premise version. And so SharePoint allows you to have a central document storage. So through this, I can see when this was last modified, as well as who last modified it. So that way, if I'm going into a document to make a change and I wasn't the last person to modify it, I can check with that person as well as look at the version history to be able to see, oh, here's what's changed, here's what I may want to be up to date on before I make any changes. And so, by doing that, I'm able to kind of create a more consistent process. I can then log in to the SharePoint site and be able to share this document. So, say I made the changes for my client, and now I've decided that I'd like to have my manager approve it. So I can share right within here, approve this. And so I'm just going to, ask him if I can send this to them. And normally, you type out a nice little letter, and then I can share it to him. And so he'll actually get that as a task in CRM as well as a notification in his email. So people who may not necessarily use CRM still have access to all these documents. And so by doing this, my manager has the ability now to either approve or, not approve my changes. And if he chooses not to approve them, then he can help me build a better sales process as well as find out how to add more value to our overall sales process.
So Megan, when your manager then goes either into Outlook, they're going to see an email. They can click through right to that document, or if they go into CRM, they'll have a task on their list of tasks for them to go to that same document.
Yes. So they're able to, access that information, and they can get back to me, because the sales process goes pretty quick, and they'll be able to respond to that, and,
right.
I can get back to my client as well as make sure that I'm tracking all the changes that have occurred. So now, And please feel free if anyone has any questions to raise their hand as I am demoing, and we'll also have some time at the end for questions.
Okay, great. So let's see. Megan first illustrated the dashboard list. So that's a great way for salespeople to quickly look at information that they need to leverage and use to be able to organize their day. And then Outlook client, where most people obviously are working in Outlook, and that quick integration between email and CRM. One thing that you didn't illustrate was a calendar invitation, but calendar invitations work very similar to the email integration. If you have a calendar item that has an email attached to it in terms of a meeting request, that is also shared within CRM, and it's literally just one click away from being able to track it and see and communicate with others who you've been meeting with. Office 365 and SharePoint with Word Online, of course, that same thing goes with Excel as well. And using Excel within the application as well. Do you want to illustrate the Excel integration with CRM?
I can.
So one of the things that a lot of people are faced with in using a CRM tool is, how do I update records very quickly? And most people that are using CRM tools are also using Excel. So wouldn't it be great if you could actually take information and put it into Excel, update Excel, and then have it update CRM? Is that possible, Megan?
It is possible. So one of the things that Microsoft kind of received a lot of feedback was being able to mass update records as well as fill out information a little bit more organized. And so one of the things that they've allowed users to do is to use Excel Online. And so you can update right from within a single record or from within a list of records. So here I have all of my opportunities. I can and click Export to Excel, and instead of exporting outside of CRM to a desktop of Excel, I can select Open in Excel Online. And so by doing this, I'm allowing my Office 365 to access my CRM, and I have the ability to make any sort of changes that you would in Excel. So here, I can change the contacts for a lot of people. I can change their ratings. If we get someone new, a new salesperson, and we would like to add them as the salesperson on this view, as well as in the records, I can quickly make that change. I can then use that change to save it to CRM. And so that will then update all of these records and be able to, so say that I make this $100. I then save those changes to CRM. I can accepting that I want to save this. And you can also limit with security roles who had access to this ability, so that you're not, having people mass update records and people that shouldn't be working with the system to change it. And now it is re-importing technically that file. So as I'm sitting here, this one, PC selection, which we'll come back to in the service module, we'll be able to see that it is updated as 1,000. So the reason that that's happening right now for us is because it is importing another file. And so that just sort of has, you can limit who has access to that, as well as make an approval process so that a variety of people, aka my current user, does not have the ability to update these, and my estimated revenue will not change drastically because of a small situation.
Okay, great, thank you. And then finally, let's see, collaborating, social pane. So Megan illustrated the social pane, which includes notes and emails and tasks that can be shared across a team that are sharing an account or a contact. Very easy to see who's been working on what, and also there's a what's new section that also provides the same thing for a user. So when you log in, you can see a what's new section and the accounts that you have access to. If there's anything that's been working on, you'll see that very easily. And then finally, extending with sales process and approval. So we illustrated that as well. That was also incorporated with SharePoint. And then finally, extending with quotes and orders. So we didn't really illustrate a quote, but quotes can be done with a product list and a price list, so that you can very quickly create a quote as a Word document, save that Word document in SharePoint, update the quote and process that through an order. And orders, of course, would be integrated into an ERP system, which would be a separate integration effort to do that. But needless to say, quotes and orders are covered within Dynamics CRM. Okay, that covers us for helping grow existing accounts. Now let's talk a little bit about how we can keep our customers satisfied leveraging CRM. You know, one of the important aspects about resolving customer issues is putting a process in place and having a process to go through and debug an issue and then report it back to clients. And the good thing is the process that's used, you can see a process being illustrated here, identify, research, and then resolve cases is illustrated here. And that's out of the box available for as a process in service to resolve service cases. But the key is, how do you use that across your organization and tap social and organizational networks so that individuals within the company that might be even outside of CRM can have visibility to what cases exist and how they can contribute to resolving them. And ultimately, it's getting the right information when needed. Why don't you start pulling up the demo here, and I'll talk a little bit about one of those examples. So right information when needed. We've had a client that had sales individuals who would go in to close a deal, and when they went in to close a product sale, oftentimes they would walk into a situation where their customer would have an open issue with the company. And when the salesperson walked in and did not have visibility to an issue that they had with a previous product that had been sold, they would be surprised when the customer would tell them, hey, where are you with this issue that I raised a couple of days ago that hasn't been resolved related to the last product that you sold me? And it would totally mess up the sales call. So the sales individual immediately becomes customer service rather than sales. So by embedding with this organization, we implemented cases, so those cases would be called into service desk, and that same information is shared with a salesperson. They'd have visibility into those issues. So when they go into a sales call, they can quickly tell a customer, hey, I know you had an issue 2 days ago. Here's where it is in terms of our system, and we'll have an answer back to you by the end of the day today. So it completely changes the game in terms of that particular meeting, and you can get on with the sales call.
And so being able to get on with the sales call is a huge part of any customer interaction and being able to move on to the goal. And so CRM provides two ways to make sure that you're keeping customers happy and keeping them engaged. And one of them is through cases. And so here we've seen a customer service manager dashboard. And so through this dashboard, I can see charts as well as cases by priority and be able to see my active cases by agent, so that as a customer service representative, I'm able to organize and structure my day as well as my team's day a little bit more efficiently. And then all of these charts, I can drill down into individual records to be able to track the data behind them a little bit more efficient. And then the other way to keep customers happy is to be a little more proactive. And so an out-of-the-box report that CRM provides is neglected accounts. So most companies have a list of large accounts that they want to make sure that they keep track of and constantly follow up with. And so here I've run this report so that I can see these are accounts without activities. And so nothing has been tracked, there's been no phone calls or anything like that. And so for a lot of these, I know who the owner is and I can follow up and maybe see, what's going on and how do I need to interact with these accounts to make them the most benefits as well as to provide resources in the future.
Most companies have a list of top accounts, and what's important with top accounts is to engage with them frequently. So this is where we've seen our clients using this to make sure that they're engaging with their top accounts at least once a month in terms of either a sales call or a customer service communication, just to check in with them and make sure everything is going well. So thank you for that demo, Megan. So let's see, we've seen customer case management and starting with the dashboard and working into the cases and moving through resolution, and then some reports to help an organization organize who to contact when, and provide data out of CRM. The good thing is all that information too is completely click through. So when you run a report, from CRM, the information is live, so you can literally click through down to records to be able to drill down. And then finally, collaboration. You want to talk a little bit about Yammer?
So one of the things that CRM provides is Yammer, or office groups, which is allowed to kind of create an interactive feature, especially when talking with cases. So if you go into a single case record, you're able to see here Yammer, which is a social media activity, sort of like Twitter, that allows people to post and engage, so that, you know, if a case is occurring and one agent has a question, they can post to Yammer to be able to say, and others can reply. That can then be tracked to, you know, the case, the account, the lead, the opportunity, any of those entities, and be able to use that and search it in future cases to create a more consistent process as well as a structure for communication.
Excellent. Thank you, Megan. So, sort of wrapping up, I mean, what we've been able to illustrate today, hopefully you've seen the usability of dynamic CRM, the interconnectivity between various applications, how easy it is to get data in and out of CRM, really makes it more effective for users. And we know that when users have a system that has data at the right time on the right device, and it's easy to use, provides greater adoption, and ultimately that drives acceleration of the sales cycle. And I think in the end, really, that's what it's all about.